Well, one of the things we were most pleased with coming out of this game was the resiliency our team showed to overcome, a little bit of a slow start. Hung in there, kept battling. Defense made a couple key stops, even though we turned the ball over in bad field position. Had a couple 3-and-outs on offense, but I think everybody kept their poise. Everybody kept competing, like we always talk about. It's kind of like you get punched and stunned in the first round of a fight, and you don't go down, and you just keep boxing, and the next thing you kind of win the fight and kind of win the momentum of the game as you go. So I think that the thing that we want to do with our team right now is be sure to point out all the things that we did well in the game so that we build confidence, in our players and show them that doing things right is going to help them be able to perform well, and to point out the errors that we made, whether they're fundamental or mental, so that we can correct the mistakes that we made and hopefully have the best chance to improve. I think you have the, offensive, defensive, and special teams players of the week. We certainly look forward to a home opener this week. Playing in Bryant-Denny Stadium is always great. The enthusiasm and spirit is something that the players certainly have a lot of appreciation for, and so do we. So New Mexico State is a wide open team that, they'll do everything they can to expose your weaknesses. They're, really kind of a pass the ball, lots of spread formations, really do a good job in that part of the game. They've got kind of a veteran team, an experienced quarterback, a good runner, a really good receiver. Defensively, they've got some guys coming back, and they're a pretty good team there too. So the thing that we need to focus on most is, what do we need to do to improve? What do we need to do to get better? And understand that, we got to have the kind of instincts that's going to help us go after every team to, we talked about trying to create an identity for ourselves. You don't do that in one game. You do it over a season, and you have to play to a standard, every opportunity that you get. And we certainly respect the team that we're playing, and look forward to the challenge and look forward to playing at home.
After watching the film, what stood out to you about the running game?
I'm sorry?
What stood out to you about the running game?
Well, they did a lot of stunning up front. I think that, it's a combination of the whole team. I think when you throw RPOs, you don't always block the secondary folks. I think when the runners press the holes the right way and run where they're supposed to run, people show up in the right places for the offensive line to be able to block them. And I think that there was a number of occasions where we had a hat on a hat and we did not finish blocks like we need to be able to run the ball effectively. So all those little things are things that we need to do to improve and get better. And, I think a lot of times you make great improvement between the first and second game, and that'll certainly be our goal, this time around.
What did you see from Landon Dickerson in his first game for you guys?
I thought he played with a lot of toughness, had a lot of effort out there, did a good job for the most part. One of the guys that, we feel competed in the game, like we like. And I'm sure that he would tell you, and, his coach would tell you that are there things he could have done better fundamentally? Absolutely. But we certainly like the competitive character that he played with. And like all players, I think there's things that at least we know where we're at now and things that we can work to improve on.
You've used defensive guys as a fullback in goal line packages in the past. What goes into picking the player that occupies that role, and why was Cahill a good fit for that this year?
Well, he's a good athlete, and most of the time we've had some big guys that had enough experience that they could go in there and do something like that, and it was a good fit for them. You'd rather not do it, in all honesty, if you have enough tight end types and fullback types on your team. We didn't have that, so we thought Cahill was a good was a good role for him, and he actually did a good job in the few plays that he played, doing it.
Come back over here to Tony.
You had 268 yards after the catch by your receivers. How important is their athleticism, and how do you utilize that with the short passing?
Well, I think we used it in the game. If they got, how many yards did you say they got? Yeah, well, that was how we do it. I mean, try to get them the ball in space so they can catch it and run with it. Try to block for them on the perimeter. I think it's important that those guys are all guys that have ability to make plays, that we have ways to get them the ball so that they have the opportunity to do that. And we'll continue to try to make that a big part of our offense, and be able to run the ball effectively as well. So I think all these things are important, and but to be able to do that, everybody's got to execute on offense. And at times we did well, and sometimes we could do better.
Coach, is that Michelle?
Hey, Coach, I'd like to ask about Jalen Hurts. Played last night, but a guy that used the system the right way to help and better himself. How much impact does he still have on this program, and also a role model toward future players in college football that should use him as an example?
Well, I think that, Jalen set a great example when he was here, when he was a player. He was a good leader. He was a good performer. And I also think when things didn't go his way, he showed a lot of character as a person to continue to try to improve himself and do everything he could to help his team. And, in this day and age, you don't often see that. But I think it was a really, really great example on his part. And because he did it that way, when he got an opportunity, he was able to do extremely well. Actually won, the SEC championship game for us. And so now, because he's got that kind of character and attitude, I didn't see the game last night. We work on Sunday nights, but I hear he played extremely well, did an outstanding job, and that doesn't surprise me in the least bit. And we're really happy for him, not only in the way that he handled himself throughout this entire process, but now that he's having success as well.
Offensive lineman, did Alex Leatherwood get hurt in the game, and Matt Womack, is that kind of how we're going to see him all over the place a little bit this season?
Well, in the first game, you like to give guys opportunities to play at different spots, see how they respond, see how they do. Alex did, he didn't really get hurt in the game. The only guy that, Emo was the only guy that got hurt, late in the game, and he may be a week or two with his injury. So, we always want to try to get the best guys on the field, so we try to get them experience at various positions early in the season, and that helps you determine what the best combinations of players will be. So when you ask the question, is that how it will be all year? Probably not. Will we continue to do it in the short term? Probably.
Last two, Cecil and Ryan.
I have two. The first, did you feel like Najee and Brian were really able to get into a rhythm in that game? And is it better for running backs to have more carries, get lots of work? Is that the way you're going to approach that this year?
I can't speak for them. I don't know if they were or weren't, but I know this much, that there's a certain way you're supposed to run the ball on certain plays. You got to trust and have confidence in that, and that's the thing that we want to focus on with those guys to be able to do. If that takes rhythm to do that, then we need to improve their rhythm. If it takes more eye control and eye discipline to see what you're supposed to see and respond that way, then that's what we need to do. But I can't really answer that question. And I think every back is different in terms of, some guys do great when Derrick Henry was a guy around here that the more he carried the ball, the stronger he got. Other guys do better when they're fresh, and when we can sub guys in, they all do a little bit better. So I don't know if I'm answering your question or
That's
not.
great. Thanks. And also, Terrell, who had missed an entire year, what did him coming back bring to the defense?
He played well in the game. He prepared well for the game, and I thought he did a really good job in the game. He put some pressure on the passer, played well on the edges, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to keep him healthy, and he'll be able to stay out there and do a good job for us all year.
You talked all offseason about Tua taking what the defense gave him. How pleased were you that he was able to kind of carry out that game plan from start to finish?
Well, he did a good job in the game. There was a couple things that he could have done a little differently from a decision-making standpoint, and we'll correct those things, and hopefully we continue to improve on them. And we were pleased with his performance, and I think he'd be the first one to say that we left some money on the table at times if we'd have made a little different choices or decisions or whatever. But I thought he really, really played well overall, and he'll be the first one to say, I got some things I want to improve on, and we want to help him do that.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.